Falling prices for grain on the global market should help a country like Ethiopia feed its more than 120 million people. But that's not happening.
Ethiopian wholesale prices are 3 to 4 times higher than global prices.
A kilo of wheat selling for €1. We've never had that.
Despite the ample supply of wheat on the global market, Ethiopia is struggling with shortages amid inflation. In western Arsi, in the Oromia region, farmers are busy harvesting wheat. The Ethiopian government is expecting a bumper harvest of 19.5 million tons this year. That's 4 million tons more than last year. But there are difficulties in reality.
This season we had issues with fertilizer. Some farmers didn't get fertilizer on time. That's why the crop grew at an irregular rate. Those who got fertilizer on time are the ones now harvesting their crop. But that's not the case for the farmers who didn't get it at the right time.
Wheat flour prices have been rising steadily. Bakeries are left with no other choice but to pass the higher cost on to customers.
Flour prices are rising 1 to 5 euro cents every day, week and month. A kilo used to sell for €1. It now costs €1.46. And if flour prices go up, we have to increase bread prices.
Ordinary Ethiopian consumers are struggling to cope with rising prices.
My income never matches my expenses. I'm a cashier in a private pharmacy. There's school fees, transportation costs, and food. It's a time to complain instead of being grateful.
Wainishet Nega is a single parent who also takes care of her elderly parents.
For example, if you wish to buy the grain teff in good quality, it costs between 125 and 130 birrs, or €2 a kilo. Maize used to be cheap, but now it costs 70 cents. If you need clean maize, you pay even more.
Since January 2022, retail prices for wheat have nearly tripled in local currency in the capital Addis Ababa. In September, a kilo of wheat cost the equivalent of €1.50. Teff, a tiny gluten-free crop, is Ethiopia's most popular grain. For centuries, it was the most widely consumed grain in the country, but now Ethiopians can barely afford it.
The price has risen sharply. People are complaining about the high prices. I know there's a difference of €68 compared to last year. €68 more for 100 kilograms. Supply is also limited. Consumers are frustrated with the high prices.
High global commodity prices are meanwhile among the factors fueling inflation, which is around 30%. Russia's invasion of Ukraine sent wheat prices to record levels, but they have dropped sharply since the summer of 2022.
What's not produced in Ukraine has been more than compensated for by Russian production. So from this point of view, the global market situation is comparatively relaxed. But prices are still at historic highs, so you can't really talk about a major easing of the market.
And other factors aren't helping Ethiopia.
There is a distorted domestic trade. We want to reform our trade regime. Some of the price increases do not make sense. Of course, there are real factors like cost of production has increased, right? I mean, the cost of fertilizer has increased, cost of transportation has increased globally, and that would reflect on price of products.
Ethiopia isn't importing wheat this year. The government aims to make the country a wheat exporter to earn foreign exchange. It says an additional 2 million acres of land will be cultivated this year.
The problem with hunger, especially in urban centers and the rest of the country, is a question of distribution and income. But it's not necessarily a question of whether you produce more or less wheat.
More than 20 million people need food assistance in Ethiopia, according to the World Food Programme. Over 4 million of them are internally displaced people. Birhan Teka is one of the 1.1 million people who have been displaced as a result of the war in Tigray.
We can't buy any food or grain. I have nothing. We have left our wealth, our money and property behind. We are in a difficult situation. We have no work, we have no income.
Ethiopia's middle class is demanding more from the government.
Nobody cares about us. No one told the traders how much they have to sell. I think the price of cooking oil went down after the import tax was waived. If other goods are treated in a similar way, prices could fall.
Despite growing levels of poverty, Ethiopia's government still wants to become a wheat exporting nation. It is sticking to its plan even as its own citizens struggle to afford grain.